So inside all day, I have been cleaning the floors and everything. Yeah, so if you want to see the parts I haven't done, well, that would be in the laundry here. That's what it all looks like. I just can't be bothered doing anymore. Outside is clearly trashed. It's really amazing how far things move. That post there is from the letterbox in the front yard, so it had to go all the way around that corner and the other corner. The same with all that stuff. All that stuff is from the front. Hasn't been a dull moment here. There's people doing lots of things, including motorbike riding. So heaps of debris here, and these here, this was actually right across here, and it actually stopped all the debris from coming in this part here. Yeah, you can see it, the level on the wall there. So that is 40 centimeters high, and the back was 55, and the back fence was 60 centimeters high. So at one point when I decided to leave, it was because I thought it was going to come through the window because it was rising that quick. Yeah, so you can see on the back fence where the line came to. Yeah, and the back here, I tried to save my lawnmower. And yeah, those tubs there, they were also at the front too, and they made their way all the way around here. So a lot of debris came in because of the park across the road. It's just like a river down here. I'm actually really proud of my efforts by myself. If you saw the before and the after, you would be like, wow, like how did you do that so quick? This was all everywhere. And the mud was 1 centimetre thick, or half a centimetre thick. Half a centimetre thick, yeah. Work's flooded. I cried when I saw what my workplace looks like. Everything was floating. That's the interesting thing about water. Like this freezer here is so heavy, I tried to lift it by myself up onto the bench. And then when the water came in, it just started like bobbing around and floating. Like everything just started coming out of the cupboards. It was like the Titanic when it starts flooding and it's making heaps of creaking noises and like things are touching your feet, and yeah, it was horrible. So obviously all the carpet's all completely saturated. I've removed everything from in here because it was starting to already go mouldy. I had the bed up on the bricks that way to stop it from getting wet, but the mattress got wet like 1 centimetre in, and it just seeped all the way through because it's a very foamy mattress. All this is all wet, so I think it's going to go mouldy. I think there's no saving it, especially because we've got no power to dry things. That was mouldy on the back. I've tried to save it, but yeah, like anything that actually didn't get like soaking and just a little bit damp is just like going mouldy. And yeah, the carpet started like bubbling up. The water was like coming up when I came in here to like get stuff and move stuff around. It was just like, whew, yeah. So that chair's like soaked it all in. That chair got wet. I sacrificed the chairs for the things on it. So yeah, the toilet and the bathroom I haven't done. You'll be able to see what the mud looks like. Oh, I'm trying to turn the light on. Hang on. Yes. So in here, that's what the mud looked like in the whole house. The bath was full, not from me, but from flooding. And when I let it out, that's how it's drained. Yeah. Yeah. It's actually got a lot of the mud out. So when I thought it was going to get up to the windows, I thought, okay, I need to leave now because I can still walk in the water. It's not too deep because I have to carry my dog and a backpack on my back. So I put my backpack on and I carried Ella in a plastic tub across the road, which was really hard because you can't see all the things. It was all covered in water. And yeah, I walked over to the people's house up there who's got a double-storey house, and they let me straight in. He was he went to other people's houses. I didn't realise, but he went to other people's houses and said, hey, you can come over if you need somewhere. So when I rocked up, they welcomed me with open arms, even though I had never met them before. And yeah, I didn't show you much of the before because, well, I don't even know what I even filmed, to be honest, because it was all just too overwhelming. But yeah, this was just all covered in mud and stuff everywhere. It's so unpleasant inside at the moment. It smells, it's dirty, it's messy, there's shit everywhere.
Well, I'm having a hard time sleeping tonight. It's only 1 a.m. I can hear things banging out here. Yep, definitely living in a swamp. But what kind of frog is that? He's green, but he ain't what I'm used to seeing. Alright, so it's 7 a.m. and today is Tuesday. And I went to see if the road was open because I saw police and big trucks driving around last night. And so I get there, yep, the road is open. And I'm driving there on the road, like it's all muddy, there's debris everywhere. Then there's cars coming the wrong side of the road, like on a 2-lane highway. Get to the end and the people say, if you leave now, you can't come back, and your insurance will be like null for your car or something. And I'm like, why is there nobody like at this town telling people? So all these people are driving out and they're all just turning around and coming back. Okay, Tuesday at 2:30. I'd like to say what I'm doing, but I don't know. I'm just doing stuff. I think the plan in my head is that I just need to get everything out of the carpeted rooms that are full of moisture, that are making everything damp and mouldy, even though the stuff in the kitchen's mouldy too, so I don't know. I've got clove oil to kill the mould. That's the best thing to kill mould. I've just been organising the non-mouldy things up here. Yeah, and then the things that are mouldy are like getting sprayed, then hopefully dry out in the sun, sprayed again, dry, and I don't know. The hardest thing actually about this has been the mould. It's absolutely incredible because we don't have any power and there was no breeze and there was no sun, but today there's sun and hopefully there'll be more of a breeze. The only times I've cried really so far, it's like I wasn't seeing the stuff or anything, like the moulds like really disturbed me, but like Ergon gave me cold water and like the SES gave me a sausage, like I don't know, just little things like that make you cry because it just helps so much. It's just like, I know it's small, but yeah. So it's been the most emotional day, like I don't know, I'm like happy and then like crying and then feel good and then feel shit, like it's just a roller coaster. But yeah, it's really busy. There's like 1,000 Ergon people here. The water's back working, but our power's not going to be working because there's something broken. Yeah,
So today's probably been the saddest day of all because everything that I managed to save that was up high, everything is damp. Like everything feels so damp, it's so humid, there's no electricity, there's been no water, so the mold has just grown out of control like overnight. This did not get wet. Everything is moldy. But these two little birds keep visiting me all day, and it's just little things like that that are making me happy. There's lots of birds and butterflies. I don't know what they want. Food, water, I don't know. Maybe just here to cheer me up. This is what I made my garden for. For little birds like this to come visit and find some food. The garden took a pretty bad hit though, because being on the corner we weren't protected by any other houses or fencing or anything, so we protected the neighbour's yard because there's that fence there, so their garden's immaculate, looks fantastic, but mine got all the debris everywhere, and I'm just trying to get it all out of this house now because the electricity, who knows when it's going to be back on. And it's just a race against the mould.
They believe that this huge washout here is the reason why Holloway's didn't get even more flooded, as all the water was let out to sea. It took me 5 days to sort through all my belongings between what was wet, damp, savable, not savable, mouldy, not mouldy, and everything had to go through the process of being sprayed and aired outside. Everything had to get out of the house, but to not put it on contaminated surfaces such as the ground. So everything had to be up high on a space, and it was just like hoping that it didn't rain either. So I did not record this process because it was an extremely difficult time, and it was just absolutely a head spin and so blurry. Like one day we had 2 hours left of stuff to do, and it took the whole 8 hours because there's just like constant interruptions all day long from so many different people coming by to come into the house to inspect things, from council, ergon, the list goes on. The realization came that a lot of the stuff couldn't be saved, so it just all had to get tossed out the front to get taken away to the dump. I'd have to say that the hardest day for me was the day that the real estate agents came to check the house, because they were absolutely terrible to me. And they have kicked out so many of their tenants, leaving them homeless. The laws around what happens in a natural disaster when you live in a rental really needs to change, because it's absolutely disgraceful. But luckily for me, the landlord, the person that owns the house, travelled from Innisfail to come and meet with me and see the house, and she was absolutely devastated, not by the condition of the house from the flood, but by the fact that we had been treated ever so poorly, and she gave me her word that I will remain living in this house. I think for me, I can say that hopefully it's all going to pan out okay, but there's so many other people who it's just absolutely devastating, and it really breaks my heart for them. It's really hard for people to understand exactly what you're going through and like the whole process. Some people were asking me like, oh yeah, you're still going on holidays on Saturday? Like it took me 5 days to organise and get through this mess, and it's just like there's still more to be done. I'm actually very grateful that I was able to save like a lot of things that were more sentimental, and it was more just like furniture that had to be thrown out. And one of my favourite sayings is, you can either get bitter or you can get better. The choice is mine. Such is life.
I believe after this, definitely the flood alert system is going to be completely changed, but it shouldn't take floods and people's lives and this horrible mess to be the reason for change. Like, why this was not already set up as a plan in a place that is a flood zone, that is surrounded by rivers